effect.
Good morning, comrades. You're listening to WHIVLP New Orleans 102.3. This is your weekly dose of the number one socialist radio program on the New Orleans airwaves. Jeff and Robert here. What's going on, brother?
We're here.
I forgot.
What?
I made something. Hold on a second.
Okay.
Let me start us because I made a video.
Oh, you made a video. Oh,
ready?
3, ready.
2, 1. Good morning, comrade. You're listening to WHIVLP New Orleans 102.3. Good morning, comrade. Jeff and Robert here on your number one social radio program on the New Orleans airways. Robert, what is popping, brother?
A couple things. Let's shoot. Did you hear, to start out on a low note? Did you hear about the guy?
Bad news.
I'm just saying, did you hear about I sent you a movie recommendation today when I was at work. But I was gonna start off. Did you hear about the IDF soldier who unfortunately killed himself because he didn't want to? He got called back up to go into Gaza.
No, I didn't hear about that.
This was last week. And it just got me thinking about how this really is our second. I don't know. This is our second Vietnam, even more so than. And I say us because the United States is funding this genocide, obviously. So it is us, and it's just really sad that, like, you know, this guy was out here making TikToks about, like, oh, we're gonna do this to Palestinians and do that to Palestinians, and then, you know, he went in there and he did his time and he went back to work because Israel doesn't really have a professional military. It's all reservists. That's why they're calling up 50. They've called up 50,000 reservists to go throw them into the meat grinder. But because they're doing so well, if you listen to Israel and they have full operational control, that's why you call up 50,000 reservists. Yeah. But yeah, so he went back to work, went back to his life, and he got the call up, and he didn't want to go back over there because, you know, like we always joke, I always joke the trees and the trees were speaking Arabic, and yeah, so he unalived himself, and that's as much love I don't have for the IDF, and I wish them all a very bad day. I don't like to hear that. It makes me sad, especially from a war that we are funding, like America. This is just one more person that the American Empire's blood is on their hands, on our hands, I should say. And it got me thinking of, you know, yesterday I was laying in bed and I'm like, I want to watch a super terrible exploitative HBO documentary. Yeah, I mean, I just love this. I love exploitative documentaries. I just do. And HBO used to have them in abundance when we were kids, and they, you know, like, we couldn't afford cable, but I'd go to my rich friend's house and we'd stay up all night and watch, like, softcore adult movies like Red Shoe Diaries and, like, the craziest documentaries, like, ever. And there was one, and so HBO, yeah, Taxi Cab Confessions and all that, Real Sex. Yeah, absolutely. So I went looking for that. I have a subscription to HBO Max because they have a bunch of my favorite movies. They have Deadwood, they have Casablanca, they have the Alien series. They've got all the good DC animated movies. So I'm like, HBO, I know you're going to have the craziest, most wild documentaries on earth. Well, Warner Brothers, I guess, because they bought HBO, you know, decades ago, they're cowards, and they have this huge backlog, you know, of good stuff, and they don't want to put it on there. So all those documentaries are gone. There's stuff like Beanie Mania and, like, I don't know, Nagano Olympics, 98. And I'm like,
You
I
can't
no.
put it in multiverses. They don't want it. They don't
Exactly.
Want
Exactly. Life on Crack Street. Or they literally used to have a show called Shock Video where it was just like it was just like stuff like a bear ate a woman who was walking her dog, like, and somebody caught it on 8mm camera or something like that. It was always something like that. But anyway, so they don't put those on HBO Max. But I'm like, I bet you these things are so old. I bet you they don't get copyright claimed. Went straight to YouTube, put in HBO America Undercover, found all the hits. But how this relates to that poor guy who killed himself is that I found a movie called, I'd never seen it before, called Soldiers in Hiding, and it's about the Vietnam War, and it's about vets who came home from Vietnam, couldn't reassimilate into society, and they just started living in the woods. So real life Rambo, real life Wolverine from the X-Men.
Oh, Rambo is like a movie, but like so when you think about Rambo, also you don't think of like Rambo 3 or that new one or whatever. You think about like the tortured character of John.
Yeah, I think about actual Rambo. Like in the book, he dies.
Yeah.
I've read the book. I think about. When somebody says, there's a whole thing. That's an idea into itself. To where smarter people than me have said, Ronald Reagan invoking Rambo. It was like this guy's never seen it. Like obviously he watched it and he missed the whole message. Like Rambo kills cops. He killed a cop, not on purpose. But he killed a cop.
There was a very conscious effort to like change what that movie series was about. Like after, I guess, the second one, right? After First Blood and after what was the second one? The second one just called Rambo 2, right?
No, second one is First Blood Part 2.
First Blood Part 2,
which is the most convoluted.
But then after that, Rambo 3 is literally just like, okay, we're just gonna.
That is not necessarily correct.
Okay.
I know as a weird
one came out like 10 years ago.
Well, yeah, those movies are stupid.
Yeah.
But as an actual like Rambo aficionado, I would call myself. The writers of those movies, like the first one is amazing, second one not so much, and the third not so much even more. But they all have a theme, and they all. It's almost like the writers were writing.
First Rambo is more like Rocky than anything.
Yeah. But my point is that those movies, with the second and the third one, it's like the writers were writing a bucking bronco, and they were holding on for dear life, trying to get like the message across. And so the first one, it's very like this whole movie from start to finish is how is America bad? Stop treating our veterans like trash, even after you sent them, you sent them to this hellhole, and now they're back and you treat them terribly. The second one is, you created a mess in Vietnam, and we're going to kill some Russians. We're going to blow up a Hind-D helicopter with a Stinger missile. It's going to be crash bang action. There's going to be a hot chick in it the whole bit. Maybe go America. All that. But the message at the end is, hey, we're the ones, fighting and dying and spilling our guts out here over this garbage. Don't forget about us. Don't treat us badly. And even the third one is like, hey, America, you created this mess in Afghanistan. Why are you leaving the Mujahideen out here to fight the Soviets on their own? Like that's
the brave fighters of the Mujahideen.
Yeah. That whole thing. But so those have always been great anti-war movies. And I'm glad they were made, because even at their dumbest points, when people want to say like, there's two movies I bring up when people want to like act like Google doesn't exist in the year 2024 and want to test my like leftist bona fides, and I'll say, I'll say, Cuba good, America bad, and they'll be like, well, why is everybody trying to come over here? And I'm like, well, that's complicated, and I can tell you all about it. Or if you don't have time for that, watch Godfather 2. Or And with Vietnam, I will say, be like, yeah, Bin Laden was a CIA asset. And they'll be like, what? That's crazy. You're a crazy conspiracy guy. And I'm like, oh, I'm like, man, watch Rambo 3. And I'm like, that's not based on a true story, but historical events, my dude. I'm like, that's what it is. Like, go watch Rambo 3. So those movies are helpful to get, normies, at least they're not anti-war movies, but they at least get hopefully 1 out of 1,000 normies who watch the movie will get something else out of it except America good, Russians bad. But the point is, this movie, Soldiers in Hiding, because it made me think of that guy who killed himself, because I'm like, this is what awaits IDF soldiers who are going to escape the Gaza meat grinder in 10 years. There's a guy who uses disability payments. He lived in Oregon. He bought land and he bought a boat, and he has to leave his wife and kids like for 3 months at a time to go out in the ocean to he says it himself, to keep himself from hurting them or somebody else. Yeah. Because he's just so like, I can't do people. And these women, like, there's 2 women in the movie. Like, I'm glad that the movie focused so much on this one guy's girlfriend and this one guy's wife, because they are truly God's strongest soldiers. Mm-hmm. You talk, the meme is, be with a man, be his peace and all that. But I'm like, they were really doing their best to be those poor men's peace. And they deserved the actual world. Like, but yeah, 10 years from now, there's going to be IDF soldiers on a boat in the Mediterranean. Like that's not even a joke. Like, because they're just going to be so torn up. And I was watching combat footage today released by the Resistance, and in every one of their, if you don't follow John Elmer on Twitter, X, you should. He is a correspondent. He breaks down all the videos that come out of Gaza, and he says, I've been watching these videos for, since September 8th. And you notice after, there's an ambush or an RPG attack, from Hamas or, FLOP, I said that wrong. PFLP, sorry, or whoever, PIJ, they do the attack, and then they let the troop carriers or tanks or medevac, however Israel decides to do, come and extract their wounded and dead out. And when they can easily send multiple Stinger missiles, they could easily mortar the position, because the thought process is like, if you've got them, if they're injured, they're out of the fight. They're not coming back into Gaza. That's as good as a kill in action. You've taken them off the board. And then 2, they get to go back to Israel now, and now they are going to spread fear and discontent among the population of what's going on over there. I hate to, sound gleeful about it, but it's the most genius strategy. Yeah.
It's about what we were talking about last week, where they're literally creating more Hamas by killing civilians and by burning, as many people as they possibly can and harm. You're essentially creating your own future enemies, which, again, Empire does not have a problem with that, because that means you get to continually have the Imperial war machine gear up for a permanent enemy as well. You know what I mean?
Right. Here's my hot take as a leftist. If the United States is even around in a decade from now, and there's a free Gaza, and the Veterans Administration is around, I would run. I could see myself re-engaging with politics to run for office on one, and try run for federal office. If I win, try to introduce one bill, and that bill would be for the VA to cover the medical and psychological and material needs of IDF troops, because they are our problem, because we paid for this. We've not only killed Palestinians, we're not only culpable in this genocide, we've also destroyed these people's lives with we're backing up Zionism, where it's because our ability to funnel weapons and material to them is what gives Israel, the IDF, the ability to call these people up and to go into the Gaza meat grinder and get wiped out. So I would want them covered under the VA. I really would. I know that would be a super hot take, but
Nah, I mean that's fine. While you were making your hot take, I want to give a quick shout out. We're streaming on twitch.tv/Good Morning Comrade to our friend Christina Cosmopolitics with the raid.
my
We got
goodness.
28 viewers coming in from Cosmopolitics. We love Christina.
Hi.
Everybody give her a follow. But yeah, thanks so much for the raid, Christina. We love you, buddy.
Thanks, friendo.
Yeah. Also, we got to have her on the show. Like I've definitely had conversations with her about it. She's definitely super chill. We love all the people. We love Forrest and all of them over at Movie Night Extravaganza. They're good folks, you know.
Heck yeah.
That's to y'all.
No, for sure. Thank you guys for stopping by. Hit the follow, all that fun stuff, and I really appreciate y'all for listening to us rant for an hour a week.
Yeah. So just to kind of to reset, I mean, first off, you're listening to WHIV LP New Orleans 102.3. This is Good Morning Comrade. For people who have not listened to the show before, we are actually Good Morning Comrade. We're a radio program in the New Orleans area, and yeah, we talk about news, politics, unions, and video games mostly. So and obviously the genocide in Gaza that Robert was just talking about. Did you, Robert, speaking of unions, see the very exciting victory by the Tulane Workers United that took place this week?
I did not, because I'm too invested in Gaza. Not that that's a bad. I'm glad. I need you to keep me up with the rest of the world so I don't get so doomer/war pilled.
So, I mean, you're definitely. It was actually on the front page of the Metro section in the Times-Picayune today. I can actually pull it up here. But yeah, the Tulane faculty vote for union. Boom, there it is.
Woo!
Non-tenured employees seek job security and higher pay. A group of non-tenured Tulane University faculty members have voted to form a union, added to the growing list of U.S. universities where adjuncts and other academics have sought to organize for higher wages and better working conditions. Tulane Workers United filed for recognition with the NLRB earlier this year, announced on Tuesday that the measure to form a union passed with a vote of 146 to 29. 29 suckers.
What? Wow, that's crazy. 29 bootlickers.
Yep. The union
always one.
The union will represent about 300 instructors, lecturers, professors of practice, and visiting professors at Tulane across its schools of liberal arts, professional advancement, science and engineering, architecture, and business. Organizers said that Tulane and the NLRB had recognized the union after the votes were counted, and that they hope to begin contract negotiations with university administrators in the fall. I have a quote from one of the members, David Kumler. We could not be happier with the results. He said, to win and in such a landslide shows how important this is to faculty at Tulane and how many of us know what a difference this will make in our lives. So shouts to the Tulane faculty. That does not include tenured professors, but it's all non-tenured folks. And just sort of like outlined in the article. The first, from what my understanding is, and fact check me if I'm wrong on that one. But the first higher education union in Louisiana. So,
really? Not even the LSU. You don't think at LSU?
I don't think there's a higher ed union at LSU. As far as I know, but colleges are a little bit kind of all like up and down and all over the place when it comes to it. But when again, sometimes when we're thinking about like the darkness and bleakness and horribleness in the world, like the one way that we can organize. I mean, we were talking about this a couple of weeks ago. UAW out in California, they're organizing in solidarity with a lot of the student protests. They were on strike all up and down the University of California system, in solidarity with the students who were out protesting. So I mean, like we're definitely in a moment where, and again, this is both the labor movement and the sort of like modern anti movements, like have our hand, or like we control our own destiny in this and how we interact with one another. um we can essentially decide the anti-war movement and the labor movement as it currently exists can work together, or we can be at each other's throats. And I've seen it go down both ways. Well, I've only seen it go down one way ever, and it's the ruling class pits these two movements who are, I mean, should be material aligned against one another. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's the plan, divide and conquer.
Divide and conquer.
It's even why, like, why, tenured professors versus non-tenured. It's like, oh, we got to give you a stick, a carrot to chase, and then if you, what's the word you always use? Discipline.
Yeah, we'll
use the threat of of not getting tenure to discipline you if we have to.
Yeah, and that is like the oldest school union busting that there is, isn't there?
Oh, absolutely.
But yeah, so shouts to the Tulane non-tenured Tulane Workers United, as they're calling themselves. Yeah, it's great.
We were off air, and you were talking about the stupid 10 Commandments. And speaking of schools,
so
let's keep it on schools.
As of right now, fascist Bobby Hebert, Jeff Landry, has decided that, what's really unfortunate about Jeff Landry? You know what I hate that he's got a good accent. That's the thing that I hate the most. Really? He's got the good, like,
I don't think I've ever heard him talk, and I'm okay with that.
He's got the like Lafayette, like, Cajun accent.
Right.
He sounds like Bobby Hebert. But yeah, so this is the thing about it. That's so, for people that don't know, in Louisiana, it was really one of a suite of bills that went through the Louisiana legislature. And the Louisiana legislature, I mean, we're going to have some. We actually talked about it a little bit with Gay Narcan a couple of weeks ago with Karen Green, about just sort of like some of the horrible things that take place within the legislature and all of the, anti-abortion, anti-LGBT laws that have been going there. Louisiana legislature is a bad thing. And they're making really bad laws that are making it, they're doing the culture war, and they're very intentionally doing the culture war to be to be cruel.
Yeah.
That cruelty is being also used as a distraction for the ruling political class in Louisiana to give the entire public sector away, all of our money, all of the taxes that we pay, all of the schools, all of everything away to oil and gas companies. And the latest of these is this bill that requires all classrooms to have the 10 Commandments in it. So essentially what it is this sort of like handshaking moment between like the Christo-fascists, the theocrats, and Capitol, to essentially like everybody get what they want. They're just like having a blast right now because the Republicans have a supermajority all over the place, and Democrats can't do nothing.
Let me ask you this, because I was, people in our lib circles on Facebook were going crazy, and that's exactly what you said about the Christo-fascists. It's like, these people, they love a theocracy as long as it's not brown people doing it. They, as long as you're saying Jesus and not Allah, and you've got the complexion for the protection. They love a good
put the 3 pillars up in the classroom, or they're not.
Yeah, exactly. They love a good theocracy. But I might even like be stealing your thunder and answer my own question, because obviously this isn't gonna last. Like, obviously, I give this less than 6 months to work its way through. 6 months to maximum a year to work its way through a lawsuit get filed. It's going to work its way through Louisiana Supreme Court and get overturned, because obviously what's going to happen is it's going to be like Satanic Temple or somebody, again, let's talk about like Islam, the 3 pillars of Islam. Like, somebody's going to be like, well, you got to have the kids say the Shahada every day before class if you're going to do that. And they're going to be like, oh, no, like, we're not going to do that. Well, then now you're choosing the government's recognizing one religion over another, and that's unconstitutional. So it's either we do every religion under the sun every single day or none. And so they know this isn't gonna last. So it's like, is this just red meat to dangle in front of the base? And when it does fall, they can be like, oh, the Antifa, anti-God heathens got us again. That's why you got to vote double hard for us.
That's exactly what it is.
That's
so
what
like,
I figured.
Like, Jeff Landry has already said, and the lawsuits have already been filed and all the stuff. Yeah. ACLU's already like filed a lawsuit to stop it. But like, this is what the newspapers and the political media is going to cover. And like, quite honestly, this is something that you have to fight against. You can't like
you can't let it stand.
The religious fascist win, obviously. But like, at the same time, they're using the fact that like all of this dust is up in the air right now while this is happening, to also, I mean, again, a part of the like I mentioned, I very intentionally mentioned that there was a suite of education bills that were signed. A bunch of those bills also included giving away public schools money to private schools, vouchers and stuff like that. Like, and that's not an accident. They're doing that while they're signing that you must have 10 commandment laws in every classroom bill at the same time, because they know that the media and that like a lot of the, I mean, I would even go so far as to say is that there's a lot of Democrats that are fine with the
absolutely
public money going to private schools. That's the whole reason that Democratic education reform exists, right? Yeah. I mean, that's the entire project, is to privatize the public sector. They're fine with that. So I mean, again, these are both horrible things that need to be fought, but there's a reason that like they're doing this at the same time and only focusing on one of them. Yeah, Squishmallow Dragon wants the Buddhist 7 precepts to be posted in every classroom.
Yeah, I mean, it's so obvious what's going to happen. Like, especially after, Ron DeSantis has tried to do the same. This has already been done before Ron DeSantis, where Ron DeSantis is just like the Johnny come lately of this, and then all that stuff has just been torn down. But he's still got his win, and he's still got the apes riled up, to go vote for him, because he's at least trying to stick it to the godless libs. And yeah, this is just so obvious. I talk about this all the time. It's like, yeah, Democrats are like, we're not going to do anything for you, anything at all. At least the Republican Party, nationally, and in every state where they have power, it's like, hey, we're not going to do anything for you either. We're actually going to do less than nothing. We're actually going to make your life materially worse, but we're at least on the way down. We're gonna punch left on the way down.
Hate all the people. We're gonna give you somebody to blame and like eat all the sin. Like, oh, you know what? It's not the system that exists that's causing all your problems. It's LGBT people, or it's black, brown, Latino people, or whatever it is. They're the reason that your life is terrible and that you're miserable, not because of the political system that exists that like literally has the boot on the neck of the entire working class.
Absolutely. Like, yeah, that's the game. And it's like, it's so obvious, but so many people not even so many. I would say the majority of people, when I talk to Normans at work about anything political, it's like they view the Republicans and the Democrats, the two major parties in our country, the Uniparty, they might as well be playing in the Superdome. Like they just view it as team sports. They don't view it as anything but that. And I was talking to a guy.
Are they wrong to do that? Not really.
I mean, yeah, they are wrong because that's the guard. Yeah, no, they're not thinking about it as a uniparty. They're thinking about it. They're thinking about it as there's actually a material difference between the two. And
it's less like sports and more like wrestling.
Oh yeah, there you go.
Professional wrestling because they're both in it to get their same. They both have the they're both on the same side technically. I mean, obviously they're trying to get their own advance themselves personally or whatever, but they're keeping up the kayfabe and telling the story as best that they possibly can and fooling all the marks. You know what I'm saying?
The only pushback is that I'm trying to stay with this analogy. When the Democratic Party wins the championship belt, when they're holding the belt up and they're like, "We did it, we won."
Championship belt right now.
We have power. We have the majority. We won. They know it's kayfabe and they won't wield that power. Mm-hmm. The Republicans, because they're, the old saying goes, the Republican Party fears their base and the Democratic Party hates theirs. Because they fear their base, they will wield power. Even if it doesn't help their base materially, they will sling power around to where the Democrats will not, under any circumstances, make any material changes, even if it is just dangling keys, even if it is just performative. We won't even do I'm definitely not a Democrat. The Democratic Party will not even do performative power grabs.
No. They're too up their own butt, like fake virtuous. They have to do the thing where it's like, well, we're trying to bring everything together and we're trying to squash all the beef with our worst enemies, and we want to reach across the aisle with the people that have knives to our necks as soon as it possibly can. And oh no, we tried. And we expect now that we have made ourselves look like complete buffoons and given our enemies the entire store and didn't even negotiate with them and win a damn thing. You know what? We know the voters are going to see that and they're going to support us. And bro, nobody wants to see a virtuous loser. People want to see winners. We demand a winner, and we the world's 102.3 is more Comrade. Go ahead, Robert.
No, we demand a winner and we detest a loser.
And you want to see strength, you want to see power, you want to see something, effectiveness.
I was watching CNN or a clip of CNN on YouTube today, and they've got their underwear on a bunch because polling is now showing that a significant number, not an insignificant, enough number to turn an election, of black voters under the age of 50 are either being uncommitted, not going to stay home, or going to vote for Donald Trump. So what I can't wait to see if Joe Biden and the Democrats get washed in this election, which I don't know will happen. I have no idea. I can't really read those tea leaves, but that it's even a toss up against a Donald Trump is disgusting. But if Joe Biden and the Democrats do lose in November, I cannot wait to see the think pieces from New York Times, and I'm trying to think of some other quote unquote liberal rags, and how quick the Democratic Party and how quick MSNBC and CNN turn on black voters. I can't wait. They're going to be the new Bernie voters. Watch. Mark this down. Clip it. Watch. They're going to be like, they're going to say in very nice academic corporate Aaron language that black people don't know what's good for them. We need to educate them on what's good for them, and they were all duped because we're all so stupid. It's gonna happen. It's gonna happen. I'm counting down the days.
bro.
And like, it's the most obvious thing ever. Like, why would you vote for Joe Biden? Joe Biden is like, there's no material benefit to you. And also, we worship scam, hustle, grind culture. We worship capitalism. Trump is the when you pour all that evil into the cauldron, he's what comes out. So it's like, why wouldn't America be behind this? This is what we were raised to worship. Is a guy who's like, nah, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna steal labor from you, tell you I'm gonna pay you, not pay you, have sex with porn stars, pay them off, what else? Just be a total scumbag. We love guys like that here in America. So why shouldn't that guy be president again? I mean, it's just a really sad state of affairs.
Well, the other thing too, and this is the funniest thing about everything. I mean, you sort of said you can't wait to see the Democrats like turn on. They're already being like super racist like all the time about people like Jamal Bowman in New York.
Oh yeah,
and like you also said that like the idea. So there was like a couple of weeks ago, I saw this article where Hillary Clinton like came out and basically said like she basically blamed women for the reason why she didn't win. Literally, she said, quote,
how does that work?
They left me because this is in the New York Times. They left me because they couldn't take a risk on me because as a woman, I'm supposed to be perfect. They're willing to take a risk on Trump, who had a long list of let's call him flaws to illustrate his perfection because he was a man and they could envision a man as president and commander in chief. She's talking about women.
No. Okay, so I'll be honest, and I think I've told this story before. No, obviously Hillary Clinton is objectively probably the worst person.
By the way, I also saw an article like last night of somebody in the Washington Post like saying, gross. You know what Joe Biden needs to do to win? He needs to drop Kamala Harris and bring on Hillary Clinton as his vice president.
He might.
That's so awesome.
Hillary Clinton. I'm being honest here. Like, I hate Hillary Clinton so much, but it's like she might be the worst person in our lifetime to run for president. I'm trying to think like a Kerry. Like Kerry was milquetoast and boring. Dukakis? No. Dukakis was not worse than. No, you could get excited about Dukakis. Yeah, I think she's the worst. No, I think she's 100% the worst. But there is an argument to be made. Now, in a world where we swap out, let's say we swap out not President Obama, we swap out Senator Obama running for president with Hillary Clinton, and then he loses to Donald Trump, right? The same way he ran against McCain, he runs the same campaign and loses to Trump. There's an argument to be made that where people would be afraid to vote for Barack Obama. And the reason why I say that is because anecdotally, I personally, like, when my vote counted, a million times more than it counts here in Louisiana. I lived in Cincinnati, Ohio, and I voted for Hillary Clinton in the primary because my thought was people weren't going to vote for Barack Obama because racism. So I'd rather have her go through, and I think she did win Ohio. No, she didn't win Ohio. Yeah, she lost Ohio in the primary. Yeah. But yeah, so I could have that argument. Like, there's an argument to be made there, but not with her. Ain't no way, not with her. People were dying, begging for something to vote for, and and the Democratic the Democratic Party's line of it, their choice was we're going to hamstrung Bernie and push Hillary through, and then we got what we got. So no, she's out of. Sometimes I wonder, like, I know she's evil, and I don't say that lightly. She's an objectively evil person, but I just wonder, is she really dumb? Because how can you say these things? Like, we all exist in the same reality. Like, does she go when she goes home? Does she like go through a wormhole and goes to like another reality And then when she does press junkets, she does pressers, like she comes back into ours because they don't have the same press. So she can only talk about what happens in her reality, because anybody with eyes and ears and a broadband internet connection can see, like, no, that was wrong. You lost to Donald Trump, the person that the Democratic Party handpicked. They set this up for you to win. And it blew up in your face because that's how terrible you are. That's how bad you are. No. I'd love to. You know, people always say, like, who would you want to get a beer with? I would love to not get a beer. I would love to get 4 martinis deep with Hillary Clinton and see what she actually thinks. Because I'm like, you just can't be this stupid. You can't be. Like, at this point, what are you trying to even sell? Like, you don't have a political career. It's over. Your whole thing is, like, being a talking head. You'll make money. Like, you'll make money from speaking engagements and stuff like that. But she could do that anyway. She doesn't have to go out and tell me not to believe my lying eyes or ears. It's just so weird.
Yeah.
It's just, it's like a contempt for Americans.
I like you, Robert, because you're an absolute sicko. Like, you want to hang out with, not with the person who's the most relatable. You want to hang out with the weirdest freak you can find and find out what makes them tick. I love
Brother,
that.
we both love fiction, and we both like comic books. Like, the villains are always way more interesting. Like, would you rather hang out with Batman or Raja Ghul?
Yeah. Well, like, Batman's got I mean, I would go and say Batman's pretty much a villain too. I mean, he's just,
of course. Don't save me with that. Miss me with that right now. Yo, that's not what we're talking. I know what you're saying.
Oh, right. Hillary would make you pay for the drinks. That is true.
Oh, I'd gladly pick up the tab. Oh my goodness. In a heartbeat.
Luthor would be dope too. That would be fun.
Yeah, exactly. You want to have lunch with Superman, Clark Kent, or Lex Luthor? Who's going to be more interesting? Come on. But yeah, the villains are always, because I just like, what plane of existence do you live on?
How are you like this?
What are you thinking? I really want to understand your logic. Like, going back to the documentaries thing, like, yeah, I watch, we talked about it. I watch documentary, like one of those HBO documentaries. I listened to it while I was at work doing paperwork at work, and it's like a mental institution. Mm-hmm. Not be like, oh, look at the crazy people. It's just like, wow, like you are living in another plane of existence, and I want to know what that's like. Tell me.
I love it. That's just like the sickest kind of curiosity that there can possibly be in the world.
Yeah. No, she needs to be committed. Like, she needs to be in a rubber room.
Danger to society.
Yeah, just writing on the walls in like washable crayon. But instead, just writing her manifesto. But instead, she's making $10,000 a piece. Yeah, she's still out here trying to play kingmaker. It's unbelievable. Yeah, she needs to be in Arkham Asylum, like next to, I don't know, who should be next to like Clayface or something, or Harley Quinn.
Clayface is one of my favorite Batman villains because, like, I don't know, he was just like a regular gangster, and then all of a sudden he gets like these abilities to just like look like whatever he wants. I don't know.
No, he's an actor, right?
Yeah, he was an actor.
Yeah, I thought you said gangster. I'm sorry.
Well, I think part of the story was that he got like wrapped up in organized crime.
Oh yeah, he had like debts or something stupid.
Yeah.
Nah, Raja Ghul's mine because he would get me. Because
he does have an army of assassins, which is cool.
That's his. Yeah, he would get me. Like, it's hard to resist because he's such a good character because he gives Batman everything he ever wanted. A family, a purpose. Tasha Al Ghul's like one of the most beautiful women in the DC universe. And like, for him to be like, nah, I can't do that. Like, that's strength. Yeah, he would get like, yeah, there's definitely villains who would like, I'd be like, you know what? You make a lot of sense right now. Raja Ghul's one of them. Poison Ivy's another one. I'd be like, you make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I'm going to let you cook.
Hey, Magneto.
Oh, that's not even a question. That's not even a villain.
I will say
That's not
though,
even a villain.
no, I don't think he's a villain.
That's
I
not even
do
a
think
villain.
he's got branding issues. Why would you try and name your revolution the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants? That's not it's not good branding, bro.
Well, he
Figure
just
it out.
wants the continuity, you know.
He's
It's like,
being an
you know,
edgelord, you know?
it's sticking. He already bought the domain. He already owns the X account. You can't go changing up your branding now. It's like we're getting deep into the nerd weeds. It's like our, you know, we watch video game reviewer.
Rebrand, right?
We watch our video game reviewer that we like, Stephanie Sterling.
Yeah.
You know, they're non-binary trans or whatever, and you go on their YouTube and it's Jim Sterling, because she's like, I'm not changing this brand. It's like, what am I doing? Change it now?
That's way too much of a pain to change.
Yeah. So my dead name is just going to be out there.
No way.
That's why it's Jim Stephanie Sterling. You got to keep the branding. You got to let the Google algorithm do its thing, man. You can't be switching it up.
Yeah, you're gonna be knocked down and it's already like Google's already screwed. Like, you know how bad Google is these days. You got to get that SEO up.
Yeah, you got to stick with the branding, brother. And then, you know what? Even Magneto was like cool, because like even the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, like, you know, he had all his mutant buddies, and then there's just like, you know how, what's the joke they always say? Like, oh, you see a bunch of black guys on the corner who are like thugs or gangsters or whatever, and they got that one little white guy. It's like, that's the one to be afraid of. He had Juggernaut with him. Juggernaut's not even a mutant.
He's not even.
Juggernaut not even a mutant. So you know that's the guy. That's the guy to worry about out of everybody, because he's going to go the hardest. And, you know, and it's like, Magneto's like, Magneto's like, you're not even Homo superior. You're a magic guy. Yeah, but I like the cut of your jib. You know, we got, you know, all of us are African Americans plus Mark. You know, have you seen that bit that African Americans plus Mark thing?
No, I don't know this.
It's like a TikTok thing. So there's a I think it's like he's a basketball coach or whatever, and there's one white guy on the team, and they're filming it, like the coach is giving his pep talk or whatever, and he goes, it's almost like an office guy, like from The Office. He goes, you all, and he's screaming about whatever, you know, he's gotta rah be tough, and he goes, you all are African Americans plus Mark, and we rocking with Mark because Mark is rocking with us. And like all his players are just they're dying, like they're crying, laughing, and Mark's just got his head down because they're like in a high school gym, like with desks. So he's just got his head on the desk because he's just crying, laughing. Oh, I gotta send that to you. You all are African. You all are mutants plus Juggernaut, and we rocking with Juggernaut because Juggernaut is rocking with us.
That's hilarious. Oh,
you got some good.
I just got some kind of spoke text or something.
I was gonna say, you want to share with the rest of the class?
Hillary, we may never have another election.
No.
And 6 times match your gift to flip the house.
Brother, if you don't text stop back on that right now.
Oh no, I love getting those things. I love those texts. It's annoying as hell, but like I love like taking the screenshot of like I love getting the ones that are just like, Jeff, it's Adam Schiff. Things are more important now than ever.
Every day. I've narrowed it down to 2 people. I've hit stop on so many people. I've narrowed it down to 2, which is Rashida Tlaib, and I get Ilhan Omar. And even them are like
the good guys. Like
even those are the only 2 I have left. To where everybody else I'm like, stop, reply, stop, stop. But like those are the only 2 I have left, and even they are annoying. She's like, yeah, she'll be like, somebody made like, it'll be Omar. It's like, Robert, somebody made fun of my hijab on the way to the Capitol building today. I need $3. I'm like, what? You trying to go to girl? You trying to go to the vending machine? Like, what's going on? I'll spot you. I'll cash app you if you trying to go to the commissary. Like, but yeah, it's every day. Every day she needs $3, man, for one thing or another. I'm like, are you really trying to get that Mecca? You know, like give Ilhan Omar a mech. Like, is this $3 going to finally get it built?
There's always like there's a really important funding deadline coming up tomorrow.
It's so sad. It's so sad. I'm like, look, man, and I have to tell her. I say, look, the Soros check hasn't come yet. It's not the 1st or the 15th. You gotta wait for. You got to wait for him to get my Soros check, and then maybe I can break you off a little something.
We're still waiting. I mean, we're still a week after we put it all out there. We're still free agents.
Yeah, let me reach into the Good Morning Patreon, Good Morning Comrade Patreon with all of like $20 in it. Reach into that. Pay you out of that.
You saw that Noam Chomsky was dead for a couple of minutes.
Is he dead? I put RIP to a real one, so he's not dead. So that's even worse, though. I know that's terrible to say. I don't mean to be funny, but like
weird things that happens. It happens more and more lately. That so it happened not long ago when. So this was weird. Jane McAlevey, who's a longtime organizer, longtime scholar on the subject of organizing, no shortcuts, really great. Got some of her books sitting right behind me. Like she announced on like one on her website or whatever that she had like terminal cancer, which is very sad. But then like everybody on Twitter is just like doing eulogies for Jane McAlevey, and it's just like, man, she's still alive, bro. What's going on? It's so.
Well, I know the Jacobin reported that our boy Noam, he went on up to the upper room.
Yeah. Then it was reported yesterday as of recording that Noam had died, who's 94 or something like that. And then like Jacobin blasts out the thing, and then a couple others start blasting out like obituaries, and then somebody on Twitter posts is like, no, I talked to the family. Noam's still alive. What are you doing? It's like this happens a lot. I don't know what's going on. Like why? Neither. So I guess he's still going to be answering his emails. The inbox will still be zero for a while.
That man will send you an email. He will. God, dog, he is. I run a couple Facebook groups, and I can't talk to these people like Noam Chomsky does. Like, people send me stuff all the time. They'll be like, "Hey, can you check out?" I'm like, "This is not my job. I just approve posts." Hey, do you know why I was kicked out of mutual aid group? I'm like, I don't know. Do I care? No. I'm like, try to rejoin. I'll let you back in. I don't know what you did. I'm sure you did something, but I don't care. I don't have time. It's not my job. I just do this. I do this so people can, I don't know, if they got a flat tire, they can get somebody to come fill a flat tire or something, bro. I'm like,
get like a community fridge or something. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm like, this is not work.
I'm not dealing with the drama. I'm not being a middle school teacher on any of this stuff.
Exactly. It's goofy. But yeah, I'm glad he's not dead. I hope he's not suffering. That's what I meant. But I'm like, man, it's almost worse because I know he had that stroke and I know he can't talk, and I just like, I don't want him to suffer. Jeez, Pete's, dude. But not RIP to a real one then. Like,
Noam's back, baby.
I got issues with Noam, but like, It's all right. It's fine. Nobody's perfect. We're not doing purity tests out here.
He was on the Epstein flight logs though, wasn't he?
Yes, he was.
That's interesting. I'm like, what's Noam doing over there?
But you know what? To be honest, I know might as well have some fun with the last couple minutes we have. It's my other hot take. I think, the Epstein Island needs to be paved over and made into a parking lot. Obviously, disgusting, gross. Was probably a Mossad. Definitely was U.S. asset, if not Mossad asset. They're kind of the same thing. But I think a lot of people. I think it was just a place to go for a lot of people, and I think there was levels to it. This is my own speculation. Like, I think that like some people are like, oh yeah, this is just a thing to do, and then other people were like, this is where we get our freak on. Mm-hmm. So, and I think those things. I think a lot of that was compartmentalized. So that's just my own. Just knowing how like secret clubs and like societies work and stuff like that, like, like everything is kind of. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, totally.
Yeah, but he definitely was. I mean,
you don't know how deep in it he was.
Right, exactly. That, I mean, I'm not trying to cope for him. We seriously just don't know. I mean, there's so much we don't even know about Epstein before we start talking about the people who are actually there.
Yeah. Yeah,
it's pretty scary.
We don't know that one.
Say what?
We don't know who killed him. That's for sure.
Oh, no, he definitely unalived himself. No, for sure. Wink, wink.
Yeah, totally.
How is Ghislaine Maxwell still? That's a real question. Like, because
Are you still walking?
what deal does she cut? Yeah, what deal she cut with who? Because
she was the one that left the door unlocked. They're like told the guard right there. Or whatever. You never know.
I don't know, but she was like the main one. Like she was, she was setting them up.
Maybe she was the Ocelot triple agent all along.
Oh no, she was. So at the end of the Epstein Island tapes, like she just talks.
Yeah,
and it's like, Mr. President.
Not only
like,
did
and nobody who's listening to us on the radio knows that reference, so it's fine.
Nobody knows Metal Gear.
Not on WHIV.
I would think that
we're streaming right now on the internet, but like WHIV folk, no. Come on. I love everybody who's listening to WHIV, but when I picture my WHIV listener, it's Saturday morning. It's my dad, like raking leaves on a Saturday morning. It's not. It ain't anybody under the age. It's your NPR listener. It's it's your NPR listener. It ain't anybody under the age of 50. Ain't no way.
There ain't no. As we kind of wind down, we do have some good news to go out on. In New York City last night, 4 Starbucks had union election victories. 3 in New York, and then there was a 4th in West Hampstead. 4 in New York City. So, hell yeah for that. Unions popping off everywhere. We talked about Tulane Workers United earlier on. And while we have all these horrible things and all this, war, genocide, and everything, our power is in our labor, and our labor movement is growing. Hopefully,
it is. Mm-hmm. No, it'll keep growing as the contradictions. Like I'm not black-pilled. I know I said I was earlier, but we have this conversation all the time. As the contradictions of capitalism and empire keep growing, like power of the work. Yeah, people will organize more. Mm-hmm. There's still going to be bootlickers out there. I talk to a bunch of them every day, but they're never going to get it. They're just too far gone. But the generations behind us are very aware of intersectionality and very aware of the contradictions in capitalism. And like you always say, the center cannot hold. Oh, no, so we are, things are definitely going to get better. They're not going to, they're going to get worse before they get better, but you can already feel the ship is turning. Mm-hmm. I'm not so sure if, the United States is the place to be when that ship does turn, but
maybe that part of the ship sinking in the
exactly
of the world.
Exactly.
The one that's turning, you know what I mean?
Exactly. You nailed it.
So again, hit us up, G.
Yo, I'm trying to get that money.
So thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks to Cosmopolitics for the raid. And if you've been listening, you can go to whivfm.org and support the show. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube. Check out our YouTube channel and all these other kinds of things that we have going on. GoodMorningComrade.com is the center hub for all that stuff. Thank you so much. Robert, anything you want to say on the way out?
Everybody, don't give up. You can see things are getting better. Organize and free Palestine.
Free Palestine. All right. Thank you, everybody. We love you. Bye-bye. You're listening to WHIV LP New Orleans 102.